Hello everybody, good afternoon and a very warm welcome to Anglesey Circuit, brought to you by the 750 Motor Club at this picturesque coastal layout. It's the Coastal Circuit, 1.5 miles or so, that we are racing on.
So, hello YouTube. You join me at a very hot, sunny Anglesey, which most people would say you wouldn't put those two words together in a sentence, but despite that, it's 35 degrees, at least the van says 35 degrees. We're currently here for round 4 of 750 Roadsports and round 3 of Club Enduro. So, where do we start? Round 1, 750 Roadsports, Croft.
I told you listen to this song, you will see. I had enough of going through the struggles. Had enough of bearing my brothers. Had enough of trying to spec me out of show them plenty time, don't trust me. I thought it was solid, he showed me he wasn't. So I'm really just feeling like fuck it. Sometimes you just expect more from it when y'all both really came up from nothing.
Coming into the weekend, we had done testing beforehand the prior week. We got a lot of things dialed with setup, a lot of things dialed with the track itself, as that was a new track for me coming into the weekend. So after the test, we was pretty happy. So on to the official test of Roadsports on the Friday. We come into that having 90% done what we wanted to get done. So we didn't leave a lot of pressure, a lot of work to do on the test day. It was sort of double check everything, check the car is in the right window on the day and nothing's feeling different to what it was, or nothing can be tweaked, which was all good with, and ended up parking the car for the last session. There was no point going out, putting wear on the car, on the tyres and etc. So yeah, which took us on to qualifying, which overnight, it was a windy night. I think I'd been up many hours of the night trying to stop the gazebo from taking flight. So it had rained, it'd been really windy, which left qualifying to be a damp, drying circuit, which is important because in those conditions, the last person across the line to set a lap genuinely has the best conditions and the fastest track underneath them. So that was the main focus of the qualifying session. Go out, get your laps in, build up lap by lap. Obviously we expected each lap to be quicker, which it was as the track evolved to be drier and grippier. So yeah, we was last car across the line, managed to hook up a good lap, which thankfully put us on pole position by a healthy margin. I think we was in the right place at the right time, didn't push too hard and didn't be too cautious. Yeah, so that put us on pole. I think it was by 1.6 seconds. So that was a good start off to the qualifying and a good step in the right direction for the race. So come the race, we'd unfortunately lost the lead off of the start. Chose to sit behind and quickly realised we had a little bit of pace over the car ahead, kept pressure on, and the pace advantage we had probably wasn't enough to warrant passing the car looking back, and we essentially tried to go for a bit of a run out of Sunny Out at Croft. It's got quite an aggressive exit curb, which being tucked up behind a car, trying to think about getting a run just meant we just dipped over the edge of the curb, which had then pinched the wheel and the tyre. Causing us a puncture. In the pit stop we swapped the wheel, but it cost us too much time. So I think overall result we'd finished P12, which there's a few goods and bads from the first race of Roadsports, I think we took a lot of positives and also learnt a lot of things. So that takes us on to Brands Hatch GP round 2. I think coming into the weekend we definitely took on board a lot of stuff from Croft. So yeah, Brands Hatch GP was a new track to me, so it put even more stress on in qualifying with learning the track and hooking up a lap, which thankfully we did. We managed to get P2 by, I believe, less than half a tenth. Which was another good qualifying, which proved we had the pace again. So onto the race, a little gremlin had caught up with us to do with the splitter, which I'm pretty certain you would have seen if you've watched a certain Dark Side Developments video. I documented that pretty well. But yeah, it was a gremlin that caught up, something that happened on the Friday test day before, and eventually the splitter come flying off. It departed itself from the car, which causing a huge loss of front downforce and just completely put the car on the rear end. It was hemorrhaging lap time, to say the least. We was probably losing 8 tenths to a second a lap. The balance was off, the front end was off. There's a few key corners really at Brands Hatch GP where you rely on that. So overall, not a bad result. I think we managed P4, but a long way off the leaders, which is a shame because I feel the quali pace was there, being P2 and half a tenth off the lead. So that brings us on to Silverstone GP.
Sometimes life just stands still until it doesn't.
Yeah, a good circuit and one that is familiar to myself, one that I've done plenty of times, one that I feel like I could jump straight into testing and be on pace and just get the car in the right window. I think was the aim on the Friday test, which we did. Went back and forth with setup and got it to where it needed to be. Saturday, come qualifying, we put fresh tyres on as we always do. Hot day, very hot day, hot weekend, which meant the AO52s are very good on the first lap. You've got probably an extra 3 tenths of performance, 2 tenths of performance you can get out of them on that first lap, which made lap 1 of qualifying imperative, which thankfully we hooked up a good lap on lap 1, which was our fastest time of qualifying, which puts P2. Over a second off of Rob in his TCR car, which we expected. TCRs around Silverstone are very good. Rob is also a very good driver. So onto the race, we just wanted to race our own race, and I know that sounds pretty similar to the last races, but I think with the heat that was at Silverstone, the tyre management was a real key part, and we ended up dropping back a few positions off the start. Took a bit of life out of the tyres to get those positions back, which we did, and a bit of luck on my part, stroke bad luck on someone else's part, with a car issue, which moved us from P3, where we were sitting at for the majority of the race, back up to P2, which we're
not sure if something's going on with Simon Major, because on the last lap he lost 7 seconds to Luke Woodhouse behind him. Okay, there's some yellow flags out there, but I think through the sectors as well, he's losing time all the way through the lap. So Simon Major in second is now only 3 seconds ahead of Luke Woodhouse, and that gap was well over 10 seconds before the pit stops.
Yes, that's a very long margin. Before the pit stops, he was only 10 seconds behind Robert Baker. Now he's 27 seconds back, and he's gone down to third because the car just in front of him, not the little white Lotus, but just in front of that is the Golf of Luke Woodhouse, and he is up to second place.
We qualified, so I think overall that was a good reflection of our pace. I think P2 is where we qualify, and I feel that's where our pace was. So I I think a pretty good result.
It's our new second place machine, Luke Woodhouse, 30 seconds behind the leader at the beginning of this lap, and I don't suppose that gap will grow.
That's a 2021 Volkswagen Golf GTI Clubsport, so this has been converted from a road car rather than the Golf that leads. But interestingly, it was Rob Baker who built it. So Rob, who's racing a TCR car, which he didn't build, is being chased down by a car that he did.
So Luke Woodhouse, there he is in the middle, YGHP livery on the red, black and grey car. He'll be coming across the line in second place. And Simon Major still hanging on to third. There he is, car number 18, fresh virgin white livery. And the only thing that will adulterate that will be a little bit of fly squash. So it's Luke.
On to this weekend, Friday testing, Saturday Roadsports and Sunday Club Enduro.
So now you join me for my fastest lap of qualifying. It's a lap which we had quite a lot of traffic on, but I think it was the same for everyone. So here we dive down the inside of a lap car. We lost really on the entry and the exit here. As we look to turn 2, looking to keep it nice and tight, to get it slowed down on the banking, then use the banking to cut back and get a good exit. But unfortunately we lose on the minimum speed here due to a slower car. Here's a really important corner, turn 3, to get a good run all the way to Rocket. It's a long straight, you're probably reaching speeds of just under 130 miles an hour, so a good exit's important. As we look to the uphill braking zone of Rocket, hitting the brakes really hard, really late, making sure to clip this apex and not going any further out than we need to. Get a nice little burst on the throttle back into turn 5, nice and tight. Good exit as a short run again. Here we've got to keep the minimum speed up whilst keeping that exit nice and tight, not letting it run too wide out onto the exit curve and beyond there. Here another downhill braking zone, it's easy to miss it. Make sure we roll the speed through the apex and carry it into the next right, and short little burst on throttle back into the final corner. Exit's not too important because it's a short run to the line, but you want to keep that minimum speed.
Like the last couple of laps of Roadsports, we're currently behind the RS3 TCR, looking to make a move here. Been sat behind for a couple of laps now, just trying to gauge where I'm stronger and where we could possibly get the move done. So it's difficult round at Anglesey to get anything sort of done. As we look a little bit to the inside and try and sort of force a mistake and just show our nose really. Nothing really comes from this. Just looking towards the outside, it sort of doesn't work, so we slot back in. Just go for a little bit of a cut back here, but there's nowhere we can really go. Just try to sit behind for the next lap. If we jump straight into turn 3 here, as we see it goes in slightly deep, which allows us to get a bit of an exit, a bit of a run on him on the way up to Rocket. We've got a bit of an overspeed, but it's not really enough. The straight line speed of the Audi and the Golf are pretty similar, so it wasn't enough. But as we look to the inside on the brakes, we get the move done. Managed to stay ahead just on the exit as well, and that overtakes Stans and puts us in P1.
Just wait, I'ma take my time with you. Moving way too fast. Can we wind down, take it slow? Wanna let this feeling last. Don't just shake my focus. It's late when the room is hard to breathe. Just let me go with the rise and fall.
So qualifying in the TCR Golf, I think as a whole went really well. We qualified P4. The rest of the TCRs were a little bit down the road. Me and Rob landed our lap times within less than half a tenth of each other. I think Rob did a 12.95 and I managed a 13.02. So like 7 thousandths between us, which is a great position to be in for something like a 2-hour endurance race, purely because quite a few of the other teams have got obviously shared drives as well, and a few out of those teams have got one driver that tends to be slightly quicker on pace than the other, which makes it a strategy choice of which driver you put first and which driver you put second. But for us, we knew in qualifying that both drivers were about on the same pace, which made it easy for us to see in the race that we were both going to be about similar speed no matter which person went first or second.
That has gone the way of the Wayne Lawson and James Pickford car, the Audi, and it's going to be Wayne Lawson starting that car, but Will Pottergill and Chris Nyland lining up beside them. Will Pottergill going first. Row 2 is the Zach Cooper TCR and the Golf TCR. The 23 car will be started by Simon Mason, and number 100 started by Luke Woodhouse, who won yesterday in Roadsports. Row 3, Oliver Harris starts the BMW M2CS Racing car number 1. Scott Parkin is going to be alongside him in number 13, the Audi TT TDI.
This weekend was the first weekend I'd actually driven the TCR Golf, one that I'd look forward to. So TCR is obviously what we've built the Golf ultimately to be quicker than. So it was definitely interesting to see where that lay against my car, the road car Golf. I did 2 test sessions on the Friday, 2 15-minute test sessions, which I managed to get up to speed pretty quick. I think the first session was just about getting a feel for the car. The lap times were probably half a second, 3/4 of a second adrift from where they should be. We were just getting a feeling for the car, which obviously the braking was quite a lot different from mine. So that took a bit of adjusting. The left-hand drive aspect of the car wasn't as much as what I thought. It's really after you've left the pit lane, you don't really notice it. But then quickly in session 2 we got up to speed. Quite happy to have got up to pace so quickly. I feel that's definitely something I was conscious of. So it was nice to know that we got up to pace and where we should be relatively quickly.
Today, but we're waiting for the start of the race now. The car's coming through the corkscrew. The safety car has pulled into the pit lane. The red lights are on the gantry across the start and finish line, and the race about to get underway. And it's Wayne Lawson and Will Pottergill that are going wheel to wheel.
The Golf in third, and Parkins in the mix with the Audi T2. It's a VAG fest.
On there, we're getting a change, are we? Yes, so Scott Parkins getting ahead of Pottergill, and already Simon Mason had got ahead of Pottergill as well. So that's what was going on. Mason's up to second, Scott Parkins up to third, and Pottergill, the championship leader in Class A, having had 2 third-place finishes so far this season, down to 4th spot. And then it's Rob Baker, or Luke Woodhouse, more to the point at the moment, in 5th position. So through the sinuous sequence at the corkscrew they go. And there is Wayne Lawson, and he's got Luke Woodhouse right behind him now in this all VAG battle. Turning their way through Peel. You can see Will Pottergill in the background, and then behind them you've got the number 1 car of the teenagers, Oliver Harris, going through.
So the first period of the enduro race, it didn't not go to plan, but it didn't quite go as well as what I was hoping for, or maybe what I expected. As of the Roadsports race we did the previous day, I started, I think, P6, and I made up a fair amount of positions off the start. I think it might have been 4 positions up off of the start in the first lap / 2 laps. But it's obviously a car I've owned for 3+ years, and I've raced now for 3 years, so it's something I know very well and I'm very confident in, and a bit of lack of that last bit of confidence. So we didn't really move as far forward as the grid as what I hoped. Obviously we're all close matched in lap time wise. All the competitors are fast, so it's never going to be easy. But we was stuck behind a car for a little bit longer really than ideal. We definitely had lap time over it, but I think Anglesey was just difficult to overtake anyway. And we didn't have a humongous lap time delta against the car. We was just considerably quicker in a couple of places, which those places were not typical overtaking spots. So I think had that been in my car, I would have definitely had the confidence to get a move done and go for it. But in a car that was unfamiliar to me, it probably wasn't the same view that I had on it. So we stuck behind for a few too many laps, let P1 to P3 sort of pull away, and after getting that car, I believe, on the inside of Rocket on the brakes, we managed to just sort of maintain the gap that they pulled ahead of us. But yeah, not a bad start by any means.
BMW, orange Audi I should say. Prepared and run by Motion Motorsport. That 100 car is the Area Motorsport car just behind, the Golf TCR, being driven by former time attack racer Luke Woodhouse. Luke Woodhouse there, not too far behind Wayne Lawson, keen to try and find a way through, almost overlapping through there. Simon Mason splits two back markers as he goes across the line.
One was the M3,
the car.
which is the Senna Osman car.
Great racing as ever at the Tiwa Club Enduro Championship.
That Area Motorsport Golf on your screens is just immaculately turned out, isn't it? Can't remember the area cars coming out in the Scenic Cup, didn't they? They were the Type R Trophy years ago, and then building into these PAG cars from the Honda. Rob Baker out into the race.
So onto the pit stop and the end of my stint in Club Enduro. I'd done an hour and 15 minutes in the car, which obviously left Rob with 45 minutes remaining. In that time we did have a safety car, which just allowed me to take a little breather, cool down, because I do get really hot whilst driving. It was a really hot weekend anyway, which did not help one bit. But yeah, we quickly got back into it after the safety car, and then stayed out for I think 25 more minutes maybe before getting called into the pits after the 1 hour 15 minute stint, which obviously left Rob with 45 minutes. And I think the idea behind that was Rob is then going to be left with a car with a lower fuel load, with fresher tyres, at least in comparison to the competitors who had, I think, definitely all pitted before we did. So looking into the last stint, Rob had got the fresher tyres, a lighter car, and just a sole objective to just push on and try and sort of mitigate our pit stop penalty that we had of 30 seconds from the previous round, which Rob had won. So in Club Enduro you get a 30 seconds success penalty for winning, and 20 seconds for second, and then 10 seconds for third. So yeah, the pure aim of that was Rob just to push on as much as possible and try and claw back as much time to the cars that have then gained on us in the pits. And yeah, that is exactly what he did.
And he's going to come out just as Parkin and Nyland come past the exit of the pit lane.
Yes, they've just gone out of the pits. I was watching Michael Downey's Porsche go through. They're right together, aren't they? So you've got Baker and Parkin right together on track.
And Parkin trying to go around the outside of Baker, but Baker's out onto the grass goes Nyland. He was wide out, all four wheels over that curb on the Exeter Church. So dramatic stuff.
Yeah, and Baker, of course, on colder tyres, having just been stationary for 3 minutes or so, but third place battle. Just taking a moment for Baker to regather himself to take the fight to Jack Collins once again.
Leader has to face at the moment a gaggle of cars.
Quite a lot of traffic to deal with, but equally Collins or Baker will have to deal with that soon. Baker having a look there as they head through the right-hand kink up towards, it's going to try and get alongside, but Collins moves across to the right-hand side of the track. Not able to do it there, carries more speed into the corner, does Rob Baker. Bit of a skittish moment for the BMW of Collins. And can Rob Baker capitalise on this and get through? Got one car in the pit lane as well.
He's up the inside.
He's up the inside here. And is he going to do it? He's going to be the outside for the first part of the corkscrew. Collins going to hold on through there, I think. But no, Baker does go through. Baker goes through number 100 to second position in the Area Motorsport Golf.
That's lap what, 80?
84 they've just completed. And it's Chris Allen and Simon Mason that win round 3 of the Tagiwa Club Enduro Championship from Rob Baker and Luke Woodhouse in second position.
So that brings Anglesey, Roadsports and Club Enduro weekend to an end, and what a great one it's been. Secured P1, my first P1 in Roadsports this season, and hopefully more to come, and my first ever event in Club Enduro, and we got P2. So I think on a whole it was a really good weekend. Could not have asked for much more. Yeah, on to Snetterton next. We've got a couple of months, I believe just under 2 month break until Snetterton. Gives a lot of time for some sim work, for some prep on the car, double make sure everything's ready to go for testing and the weekend. But my first video as well, so thank you for anyone who's watched. I hope you all enjoyed it. I definitely did. It's definitely been fun documenting the weekend. Something that I wish I would have done from the start, to be honest. But yeah, thank you all for watching. I hope you tune in for the next few rounds. I do plan on making one for the foreseeable of this season, for the last 3 rounds. So yeah, thank you guys, and hopefully see you on the next videos.
Just let it go with the rise and fall, bit by bit to make a system blow. I'ma take my time with